Children of the Corn is a horror film based on Stephen King's 1977 short story of the same name. The film stars Linda Hamilton, Peter Horton, and Julie Madalena before she became a voice actor. The movie takes place in the fictional town of Gatlin, Nebraska, an agricultural community surrounded by huge cornfields. When the corn crop fails one year, the townsfolk turn to prayer to ensure a successful harvest. However, 9-year-old Isaac Kroner takes all of the Gatlin children into the cornfields and turns them into a religious cult based around a bloodthirsty deity called He Who Walks Behind the Rows. Isaac and his subordinate Malachi lead the children in a revolution. The children then begin murdering all of the adults in town as human sacrifices. Children Joby and his sister Sarah are not involved in the sacrifices, having not attended the meetings with the other children. Sarah drew pictures of the murders from earlier. We then flash forward 3 years later to the present day, where we are introduced to Vicky and her boyfriend Bert, who then travel through rural Nebraska on their way to Seattle, where Bert will start work as a physician. The book on the dashboard is an Easter egg, as it is Night Shift, the Stephen King short story collection in which Children of the Corn originally appeared in. We then see a young boy named Joseph try to flee Gatlin through the cornfield by the help of Joby and Sarah, but he is then attacked and killed in the cornfield by someone with a knife. He stumbles out into the road and Bert accidentally runs him over. However, Bert discovers that his throat was cut beforehand. As Bert is dealing with the body, someone is watching him through the corn. We see that it is Malachi. Bert discovers the bloody briefcase left behind by Joseph as Malachi approaches closer to the car, with Vicky sleeping inside. We see a silhouette of Malachi with the knife, then the body of Joseph comes alive and scares Vicky. We find out that she was just dreaming. We see Joby and Sarah playing Monopoly as they make a joke about putting Isaac in jail. We see Malachi throw a knife down on the board game. We meet Isaac shortly after, where he discovers Sarah has the gift of seeing the future through her drawings. He instructs Malachi, saying to tell the old man to tell them nothing. Bert and Vicky search for help. Then the couple finds Deal, an elderly mechanic and the last adult in Gatlin. He refuses them service as he has agreed to supply the children with fuel in exchange for his life. Deal tries to steer the couple away from Gatlin using road signs which don't tell the true destination to the town. He finds his dog's bloody bandana. Malachi then breaks the pact they made and murders him. Vicky and Bert drive through a dirt road surrounded by the cornfields. Then they end up back where they started. They then drive off, reaching the town of Gatlin. Isaac is seen preaching to the kids about the final test and shows a skeleton in a police officer suit on a cross where they begin to praise their deity. Vicky and Bert explore the abandoned town while being watched by children from different areas of the town. They enter a store and then Bert and Vicky witnesses kids messing with Bert's car. The pair give chase in the car, but they lose them. Vicky and Bert then find Sarah alone in a house where she tells them all the grown-ups are in the cornfield and Isaac is the leader of everybody. Bert then leaves in the car to go to the town to find some adults and to report a murder, but is unsuccessful. Shortly after, Malachi and his followers capture Vicky and take her to the cornfield where they place her on a cross to be sacrificed. Bert enters the church, where a congregation of children led by a girl named Rachel are performing a cultural birthday ritual for Amos by drinking his blood from a pentagram-shaped cut on his body. Amos has turned 19, so is considered old enough for his passing, joining their god in the cornfield. Rachel stabs Bert, then he is chased by the children. Bert is rescued by Joby. They then hide in a fallout shelter with Sarah. Isaac scolds Malachi for killing Deal, their only source of fuel. Malachi takes over, tired of Isaac's preaching, and orders Isaac to be sacrificed instead of Vicky. Isaac warns that sacrificing him will break their pact with He Who Walks Behind the Rows, and the children will be punished. Malachi tries to lure Bert out with Vicky, but fails. Then that night, Bert sneaks into the cornfield to rescue Vicky. During Isaac's sacrifice, a supernatural light appears and devours him. Bert overpowers Malachi and convinces the children to abandon the cult and run. Isaac reappears, possessed by he who walks behind the rose, informing Malachi that he wants you too. Isaac kills him by choking him and breaking his neck. A storm appears, and Bert and Vicky shelter the children in a barn. Reading from Joby's Bible, Vicky realizes that the cornfield must be destroyed by fire in order to stop the false god. Bert runs into the cornfield with a hose of fuel and is attacked by the field itself, but then is helped by Joby. Bert tosses a Molotov cocktail into the field, lighting it on fire and destroying the demon along with Isaac. The couple returns to the car with Joby and Sarah to leave Gatlin, but find it disabled. Rachel attacks Bert, but Vicky knocks her out and they depart with the children on foot. Then the movie ends. Children of the Corn is a decent horror film adapted from a Stephen King novel. The special effects are dated, but were decent for the time. I did enjoy the emptiness of the town and the occult storyline. I'd recommend this film for fans of Stephen King.